I'm Jeff with Precision Replacement Parts, and with Greg today, we're going to show you how to install a QWP 3410-73. Greg, what's this fit?
This is a swing-out quarter window seal for a 71 to 76 Dodge Dart, Demon, and Sport. It also fits a 73 to 76 Plymouth Duster. These are Chrysler's A-body platform.
Now this won't fit all A-bodies, so make sure you check our website for complete make, model year information. Let's get started.
To replace this seal, what we're going to have to do is remove this quarter window. And what that starts with is removing this seal. There's two plastic retainers. Now, these have both been, one is still left, one is gone. One of those are pried out of place, and you can remove this seal between the front door glass and this quarter window. And what that does is exposes the retaining screws for this quarter, two up on top and two down on the bottom. With the fasteners removed up here, there is one retaining screw on the back corner here on the inside. Ours is not in the vehicle, so we're going to go ahead and just continue and take the quarter window out of the vehicle. This is that retaining screw back in this corner that this one did not have. Okay, now that we have the quarter glass out of the car and onto the workbench here, we're going to go ahead to disassemble the unit so we can replace the seal, which is retained into this metal track. We're going to start our process with a hammer and punch and remove this roll pin in the rear latch assembly. Okay. Now that the pin is down far enough, remove this arm from that. Now I want to bring this end down. There are two rivets that retain this front hinge assembly to this metal track. One there and one at the bottom. We're going to go ahead with the number 20 drill bit. And remove that rivet. I have to turn it over for the other side because the rivets are opposite. We'll peel back this seal to expose that second rivet that's on the bottom. Now what I want to do is I'm going to put a block of wood underneath here. Because what I do is I want to use this hammer and punch to send this rivet we have to remove this rivet from the assembly. Okay. I'm going to move back to the top to remove that rivet. Now that's a picture of the rivet itself. It's a long rivet that goes all the way through to the other side of the frame. Again, I'm going to flip this window over. See if I can remove this bottom one here from the frame. Again, it's the same thing, just a long rivet that goes all the way through. Now that those two rivets are removed, what I'm going to do is take this glass and front hinge assembly and move it away from the back of our quarter glass assembly. Now we have the two pieces. We're going to set this one to the side, and our focus is just going to be replacing this seal in this metal track. Now to start this process, go ahead, start prying out, and pull the seal out of place. And as you can see, this is a C channel, and the seal itself corresponds to push into that C channel. I don't want to pull too much and distort some of this channel. Now, of course, the bottom has this extra flap that goes behind the interior of the vehicle. So once removed, this is what you end up with. The old seal and then the channel. Now we'll go ahead and get this cleaned up for reinstallation. All right, now that we have the metal frame and our new seal kind of laying in place, what I do want to point out is that on the bottom of this quarter glass, you will see that this track narrows down. It has a corresponding area in the seal itself that narrows down also. And we'll start that area first. I also want to point out that there's this groove here. That's where our rivet will go. So we want to start that with this rivet groove lined up with our hole in the track. What I'm also going to do, so I'm not putting extra pressure on this rear pivot, I'm going to take a hammer handle. I can also use our 2x4 and place it underneath in the back. This one is plastic and I would hate to have it break off, so we're just going to leave that like that and go ahead with our installation. Again, I'm going to line up this rivet hole with the hole, with the groove in the seal. Start that area. And I'll show you in a minute, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to start the bottom side of the seal in the track, which you can see right here. I'm trying to put that in the track itself. Holding that in place with my left hand, I'm going to use the right hand with the plastic windshield stick and push it into place. Do that for a little length. Again, start the bottom side. And that will secure your seal into the metal track. And we'll do this around the rest of the length of the seal. Now I've got the bottom portion of our seal worked in and around this back corner, so I'm just going to turn it over to make sure that I have everything tucked underneath this rear hinge, because this flap has to go underneath that hinge. Make sure that that seal is fully seated into that channel of the metal frame. Okay, I worked my way up the back side a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this now. And I'm going to start this other end. Again, this one also has that rivet groove. We're going to start that lined up with the hole where the rivets go. All right. Now that we have the seal installed into the track, we're going to check to make sure that our rivet grooves are still lined up, which they are. Check both sides, make sure everything's fully seated. Again, you'll be able to see if there's any of that seal sticking out of that metal track. If so, then we'll just put it into place. Once the seal's installed into the track, we can start to reassemble the quarter window. We'll bring this into place. Now what we'll want to do, I'm going to bring this up so you can see this. What happens is these two flanges of the hinge assembly go right in between the rubber and the metal channel. I'm going to start, and then this lip of this seal has to go on the back side of the glass. So I'm going to set it on the back side of the glass. I'm going to pull it towards me and set it into place. Holding this all together, or if somebody's helping you, I'm going to put this punch back through that hole. Okay, that's where our rivet goes. I've attached this top section. Now I'm going to do the same thing with our lower section. Getting this seal behind the glass. And bring this into place. Okay, now we have that where it needs to be. What I'm going to do is insert, we're going to be using 4 rivets, 1 from each side, top and bottom. I've got everything tucked where it needs to be. This lip is on the back side of the glass. This channel is in between our hinge assembly. Go ahead and rivet it into place. Okay. Again, once that's completed, we have a rivet from each side that will be into the groove of the seal. And that area is finished. Now we'll go ahead and do this top part. Same thing. I am going to turn this over, remove the punch. Just enough to do this side. Rivet in place to locate it. Turn it over. Remove the punch the rest of the way. Okay, now we're done with the rivets. We want to make sure that everything is tucked in where it needs to be. The seal should come all the way up to this hinge area. Now, of course, our old one was short and shrunk up, so it didn't come even close to this, but you need that area to be sealing. I'll turn it over. Look at the same thing on this side to make sure these actually tuck a little bit into that hinge assembly. And of course, we want to make sure that we get everything tucked in underneath this hinge assembly. And these flaps, of course, cover the rivets. Once that's all set in place, now we can turn our attention back to the rear area to put our hinge together. All right, so what happens again with this rear hinge pin? It actually it slides through real easy, but then the resistance is in this tab from the handle itself. So once we get this lined up, and what I'll do is I'll just take a channel locks and press it into place. Double check the operation. Once the seal is installed, what you want to do is you do want to check your alignment of the glass in the frame. Sometimes when you're removing the seal, the frame can bend a little bit, but this one looks like it's all squared up. And once everything looks good, now we can put it back into the car. We've got the quarter window back to the car. Now we're going to go ahead and install it. And my concern is to make sure that it's in this roof rail trim. And these holes line up here with this tab. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And take it up, and everything lines up. So I'll go ahead and install these screws. Of course, I should note that this flap is here also, and it does stay outside the quarter panel. It's heading crooked. Let me loosen this one up here a little bit. Now with these fastened outside, we'll move to the one that belongs in the back. We'll go ahead, insert this screw here. That completes the installation of the quarter glass.